Today on Substance Stories, we're going to be talking about detox and rehab, what it is and is it for you. I want to talk today about detox and rehab because this is something that people hear about a lot and they don't really know what it consists of and they don't know whether it's for them. So detox is what we refer to as sort of medicated withdrawal facility. Now, is detox necessary to come off drugs? For most drugs, absolutely not. For most drugs, coming off them is really unpleasant and it's a really awful experience, but is in no way dangerous. The drugs that I would say the exception to that are any GABA-ergic drugs. That's alcohol, benzodiazepines, GHB, the gabapentinoids, so like anticonvulsants. You can absolutely die in a withdrawal from those drugs. Basically every other drug, you're not going to die in a withdrawal unless, you get very dehydrated or, you do something silly because you're not thinking clearly. Doesn't mean that those drugs are pleasurable to come off. Doesn't mean that they're not incredibly difficult to come off. It just means that you're not going to die from coming off them. So strictly speaking, do you need to go into rehab to a detox facility to come off something like cannabis? Absolutely not. But a lot of people still choose to. And that's because there is something else about detox and rehab that it provides. And that's a sort of circuit breaker, a chance to take on new skills, a chance to reset your life and put in new healthy habits. So a good rehabilitation, like the one I work in or run, emphasizes the need for a healthy structure, a healthy amount of exercise in your life, meditation, thinking mindfully, eating healthily, getting good sleep, finding meaning and purpose in our life. This is something we've talked about on this podcast before, and this is what a rehab can help with. It can help jumpstart you into a good routine, good schedule, get a plan for treating whatever's your underlying cause of your addiction. This is why people go to rehab. So in order to go to rehab where you're going to engage with all these ideas, you need to have gone through the detox first. Otherwise, you can't think clearly when you're detoxing from a substance. Often what happens is people will go detox, rehab, and then they will relapse after. And we know that relapses are part of the journey and that's not a big deal. But some people struggle with repeated relapses and they think maybe I should go to a long stay rehab, a several month long rehab. And this is particularly popular in places like the United States. There are a lot of those options in Australia and some of them are very good. The hesitation I have about the rehab industry is it's got a reasonably poor evidence base at helping, because as soon as we're sequestering ourselves away from society, we're not putting in place changes that are easy to follow up when we leave. My thoughts are the best sort of rehab happens as much in the community as possible because we want to integrate ourselves and our new healthy behaviors into our normal life. There's no point in getting long-term recovery in a sequestered off area and then as soon as I discharge, I'm back into my old environment. To me, rehab and change is about changing our home environment, changing our day-to-day life to suit us. And if we think about detox and rehab as a bit like a holiday, right? And that's nice. But what will bring people more pleasure is changing their life at home. If you can go on a holiday to Bali for 1 week, or instead you can use that extra money to eat healthily every day, I would say the second option is going to make you a lot happier. And that's what I think about often these long stay rehabs is that you're going away and you're getting this artificial environment where you're able to put in a lot of healthy behaviors and habits and work on yourself. And that's fantastic. And sometimes it's incredibly helpful. In fact, so many people have been helped by that and been able to achieve long-term recovery from that. My concern is if we're not changing what's going on at home and then we're going to go back to that same home environment, we're going to walk back into the same situation and recovery is maybe going to not be attainable for us. So what I like is I prefer if someone is going to absolutely for a lot of people, detox is medically necessary. I think that when possible, we should be trying to not go into hospital. If we do have to go into hospital, we should try to limit the amount of time we're going into hospital and trying to do most of our work outside of hospital, with occasionally needing to go back if needed, but really trying to change our home environment whilst we're in it to get the longer stay. What happens in a rehab? Well, it's sort of like going on summer camp. You go there, it's lots of communal environments. You do a lot of learning, do a lot of exercise, hang out, try a lot of new skills, try a lot of new experiences like 12-step programs, like smart recovery, and hopefully leave with the tool set needed to achieve long-term recovery. It's certainly not intimidating. A lot of people will tell me, I'm very scared. I'm very scared about, who will be in there, ruffians, that sort of thing. in my experience, addiction occurs to everyone, takes all types, and some of the nicest people in the world you'll meet in rehab. So I do not think you should be intimidated by it. If you are thinking about it, if you've tried to change your behavior at home and you haven't been able to, it is the next logical step. But before you rush to go to rehab, I think the first logical step is trying to put in place measures at home that wouldn't require you to go to hospital. If you are thinking about it though, please talk to your doctor, make some good decisions, talk to rehabs, do tours of them, ask them what they're about, ask them what their ethos is, make sure they're the right fit for you. Thank you very much for listening.